Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. Last weekend I had a few moments to myself and I was sitting down at the beach and just thought about Bitcoin as always and came to a few amazing thoughts and conclusions. And what basically came to my mind is that the Bitcoin blockchain is exactly like human life itself, right? Time is such a strange concept. We're measuring this thing which can feel sometimes really fast and sometimes really slow. We measure it in seconds, minutes, with hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries, whatever. And to everybody that feels different, right? When you're a kid, time feels really slow because everything's new. You're discovering everything. And when the older you get, the faster time goes by because you know everything already, right? And if you've ever been traveling, time goes by slower again because you're discovering new things, new human beings, new environments, new food. All the stuff is new, and therefore time really slows down. So time is really relative, right? But if you look at your own life, the past, the present, and the future, then it becomes pretty clear that you cannot go back into the past and change anything about it, right? It's done, right? It's written into all eternity, what you've done in the past. And it's the same with the Bitcoin blockchain, right? Whatever happened in past blocks, over the last 15 years, you cannot change it. However rich you are, however much energy you're gonna expend, whatever you try to do, whoever you are, if you're famous, if you're not famous, it doesn't really matter. If you're a group of people, if you're a big government, you cannot go back into the Bitcoin blockchain and change a transaction. It's immutable, the same as your own past, or the past of every human being and humanity itself, right? And therefore, it's even more important that you're very aware of the decisions you make in the present because they determine the outcome of your future, right? And it's exactly the same with Bitcoin, right? Whatever transaction you are doing on Bitcoin, however you're behaving on the Bitcoin network, if you're sending $10 to the wrong address, it's gone. You cannot get it back, right? It'll immediately have a feedback if you've done something right or wrong. And that's scary for some people, but for people who like responsibility in their lives, it's an amazing thing because you're actually in control. And that is something, once you take advantage of it, it is really liberating to your own life, right? So I just find that very, very fascinating that Bitcoin is just clocking every 10 minutes, every block gets put onto the blockchain. And that's another one I thought of, right? Every block, every 10 minutes, the books of the Bitcoin blockchain settle again, the same as your life basically settles every second in the end, right? Or every minute. Yeah, every second, every moment in the end. And your whole existence is basically just a giant pool of past moments and experiences you had experienced, right? And it's just so incredible when you think of that, because that is then based on the future, based on the past experiences. You also they determine then your present, and therefore your future actions or your future outcome. And so it's all related. It's like the past determines the present determines the future, and the same as the Bitcoin blockchain. The past transactions, the present transactions get settled on the past transactions, and then the future transactions are getting settled on the present transactions, right? Every 10 minutes. It's the same as you building your life on a new block of time. Basically, everyone has like a childhood, and then you have a youth, and then you have adulthood, early adulthood, you have college, you have all these time building blocks, right, in our lives. And it's very, very interesting because the next block always gets built on the previous one. It's the same concept as on the Bitcoin blockchain. It just blew my head off when I thought about it. It's like, oh my God, it's just the Bitcoin network just runs exactly synchronizing the human life and the human existence. And the nodes in the network would be all the people who are confirming what you've done, you know. And if you lie, you know, I can speak from experience, then it'll always come back and bite you in the ass, right? Like a lie never comes to fruition at some point. Like it's always, the truth always comes out. And that is just a fascinating thing as well. It's the same as on a Bitcoin blockchain. While you can try to defraud the network, but it won't work. The truth will win always. So this is one big lesson learned here, for sure. And yeah, it's just an amazing thing to think of, how Bitcoin is just this monetary system which just clocks in synchronization with the human existence. And I think this is also one thing why Bitcoin will take over the world as a monetary standard, because it's just so real. It's just so aligned with human life. And when you look at central banking, you can just go back, you can lie, you can steal, you can cheat, you can defraud the system. You can go back into the past and, you know, undo transactions. And some people might say, you know, that is a good thing. But I genuinely think that is a bad thing, because it doesn't incentivize responsibility, and it puts responsibility onto other people. And I think this is the exact problem in our current time in the 21st century, that no one wants to take responsibility for anything they've done. Everyone just tries to blame something else. Victimhood is through the roof, you know, it's like always someone else's fault. No one is actually you know, trying to make it their own problem. Like everyone just tries to point fingers. And that is, I think the Bitcoin, like more and more people will be drawn to the Bitcoin network, because it represents truth and represents human life. And that is just a really cool thing to think of. Thanks for listening, guys. Appreciate it.